morning, sorors of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Xi Alpha Omega Chapter. Soror Dolores Johnson, Chapter Rituals Chairperson, and I, Soror Linda Knight Berkeley, immediate past Regional Rituals Chairperson, will present a brief workshop on sorority rituals, polishing our pearls. Our rituals are very, very, very important to our sisterhood, and they will sustain our times. They will sustain the test of times, and all of us are a part of that sustain. First of all, we need to understand the do's and don'ts of rituals. And so each year, those rituals are presented by the International Rituals Committee, and all changes are made and distributed to the chapter bacillars. According to Robert's Rules of Order, International Constitution and bylaws, the Rituals Committee then presents its changes to the directorate, and after a vote, it is then submitted to the chapters and the sorority as a whole. When we do our rituals, it is very important for us to understand that we do not take any pictures at all. The first thing that we do is that we attend whatever ritual in the proper attire. The rituals chairperson of the chapter and the chapter bacillars will inform you of what that attire is. The installation of officers, the chapter chartering, rededication, MIP, Ivys Beyond the Wall, all of them have a standard ritual. It's very important for you to understand that there are rituals where it is not required for you to have on a particular color. But primarily, in all of our rituals, it's very important that you must understand that we wear no pants and no hats. Many sorors think that, oh, well, it's rededication at regional or rededication at Founders Day, and we have to wear black. Well, years ago, there was a desire for us to wear black, but now it is open. But business attire, no pants and no hats. And you must always remember that on the wall, those ceremonies are all in white, uninterrupted white. And there can be seasonal white, but sorors, beige is not seasonal white. Beige is beige. There is a seasonal white in the winter and a summer white, and those are utilized in our ceremonies. We must have skin tone home or flesh tone or off-white. Sorors, leggings, fishnets are not allowed. You must have a sleeve on your arms. So if you happen to have a dress that is sleeveless, then you would have to place a jacket on with it or a shawl. The other thing is that there have been some changes made for the attire with medical problems that sorors may have. In that case, you are allowed with a doctor's permit to wear that medical shoe. And for a hat, a wrap, because of whatever medical condition or for religious purposes, that head wrap must be solid white. You also have to have, you don't have to have, I'm sorry, the AKA one strand of pearls. Your shoes have to have a shoe, not a sandal, and you may also have a sling back or a mule type shoe, but the toes have to be covered. Now remember, sorors, that when you are dressing for the ceremony, the, the focus is on the ceremony. It is not on the fashion. And so we want to make sure that we dress according to be conservative. And so if your attire causes attention in the room when you step in, then that is not conservative. The other thing is that for our ceremonies, inactive sorors may participate in those ceremonies, with the exception of our chapter chartering and our initiation ceremony. The Ivies Beyond the Wall ceremony is a very, very important ceremony to our sisterhood. Even a soror that is inactive is given an Ivies Beyond the Wall if her family wants it. Any chapter can perform that with the permission of the chapter bacillus. But there must be an agreement between the chapter bacillus and the family. And then even within that context, there should be no photographs taken. Now we're going to go on a little bit more about the use of our brand. And when we're using our brand, it will not be permitted for us to have the ivy shield embedded inside the casket, a monogram. The use of the shield on a program is utilized only with permission from the headquarters. And that's very, very important. The next thing that we'd like to talk about is the ceremony itself. Complete silence. And I know it's very difficult because whenever we see sorors, we want to greet them and embrace them, and very excited and very sorrowful at that particular time. But we must be silent throughout the entire program. Now, the rituals chairman will line sorors up. And new this year, anytime that we're going to have an Ivies Beyond the Wall or any ceremony, there will be a rehearsal prior to that happening so that all sorors are acquainted with the lineup and how you're supposed to stand. The rituals chairman and the rituals committee plays a very, very, very important part to make sure that the necessary supplies are there at the church in a timely manner. And if the ceremony is going to start at 7 o'clock, then you cannot arrive at 7 o'clock. You cannot arrive at 7:15. You should arrive earlier for the lineup. The lineup is very, very, very important. And on the slides, we're showing you, and you will see what the lineup is. And at that time, you must take the directions of the rituals chairman and the rituals committee, taking into consideration that every 2 years, things change, so they don't remain the same. And so you must understand that those changes will be shared with you by the rituals committee. If you are physically challenged and you cannot stand during the ceremony, then you will be seated in the front, and you will remain seated throughout the entire ceremony. You may not be allowed to stand and take ivy to the basket. A basket will be brought to you by the ritual's chairperson. The next thing that I'd like to talk a little bit about is the setup. Now, when we're looking at the setup and you see the casket to my right and your left, you would see the head and the foot. And we know that the head is to the north and the foot is to the south. And the basilisk and those persons speaking and the members of the family and the past basileus in order will stand to the right. Current directorate and past directorate members will also be in that lineup. To the other side, the rituals chairperson, the soloist that's doing the music. There would be, if it is in our chapter, the line sisters of that person. And if it is not from that chapter, the initiating chapter members from that chapter, and then golden sorors. Now it says golden sorors. It doesn't say just golden sorors from Psi Alpha Omega. It says golden sorors. And then the rest of the members equally. It's very important for you to understand that the deceased soror's family has to also dress in proper attire during the entire ceremony. And so it is important for us to communicate with them to make sure that they know and understand that they must be in complete uniform for the ceremony. Now, the ritual chairperson is a very, 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 very important person and the rituals committee. So I would like for you to think about joining the rituals committee because it is one committee that is really, really, really needed and has a function because at the end of each line, the rituals committee members are at the ends of the line. And the rituals committee members are at the door of the church so that no one comes in or out of the church while the ceremony is. And the rituals committee members are with the music technology people of the church because we can't allow someone that's not a member of our organization to control the ceremony. And I know sometimes that there have been ushers that, oh, we got it. No, we have it. It is our ceremony, and we do that. Now, when we're going out, the basilisk goes out first, and then each two lines come together. There would be no talking. There's never any talking. When we're going around to put the ivy in the basket, we don't hug the family. We don't talk to people. We want to remain solemn. And if a soloist is singing, then the soloist will sing. Now, during membership intake, and what I want you to do is, if you have a question, I want you to jot that down of anything that I've said. Or if I've said something that's confusing, then please share it so that we can clarify. With the MIP, the workshop, the sorors, the presentation of the workshops are done by the membership committee. They are in charge. And the sorors that attend must sign a commitment statement. Now, sorors must be active members of the chapter and must follow the guidelines of the membership committee. And so during membership, you will have all that information given to you. But it's very important that you understand that the active sorors that are not active in our chapter may attend the final ceremony if they did not participate in the chapter orientation ceremony, workshop. But they must have a card from their chapter or letter saying that they're an active member and that they have participated in their own chapter's MIP orientation. And as I said, rehearsals for the rituals for MIP will be done. Remember, things have changed. No blindfolding or the candidates closing their eyes during that life is a winding maze ceremony. The next thing I'd like to share with you is with this ceremonies, during the undergraduate MIP, the sponsor plays a very, very, very important role in the ceremony and must be present at all times. But all that information is given to you by your membership committee. Now, with the final ceremony, you must have the official badge. Normally, and recently, in all of our MIPs, the sorors have received their badges, and their sponsors or pinning person will come up. Place the pin over your heart, over the soror's heart. It is not a lapel pin. It is a pin to be worn over your heart. So when you place the pin, you use your thumb and put it in your neck right here. And then you spread out your hand, and wherever your finger is, your bottom finger is on that heart. That's where that pin should be. The pin should never, ever be worn with any other jewelry. The pin stands for itself. Now, with rededication, there are two levels. There's the chapter level and the regional level. And you're not required to wear black or white unless the persons that are in charge of that ceremony then ask you to. But there are no pants and no hats. And any jewelry can be worn for that particular. And inactive sorors may attend that as well. This is a setup for the local rededication ceremony. It's the short ceremony. And so this is the way the table will look. At regional conference, there are other facets to that particular ceremony that you've probably seen. The candelabras are brought into the room and not standing on the table. There are other people that come in, the chapter chartering persons, the chapter basileus, the supreme basileus, the light of the founders. There are other persons that come into that ceremony. But this is our local chapter table setup. Now, there is something that we'd like to share with you. Yes, you can still do a speaking. Yes, you can throw your pinky up. Yes. And yes, you are permitted to say, my line, sister. It's no more co-initiate. So those are some new things that have come into play. Yes, you are allowed to stroll, but let's understand that the graduate member intake process, the use of line names and numbers is not permitted, neither in giving the line a name. Graduate stepping is not appropriate for graduate sorors or graduate chapters except approved by the regional director at regional conference. Stepping and inappropriate gestures is not done at the graduate MIP new member luncheon. No stepping. in the public. Strolling is permissible and in both graduate and undergraduate. Do you know your hymns? I think that I shall never know. That's trees. Do you know your songs? Well, if you don't, you can order online with the Alpha Kappa Alpha Boutique, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Songbook and ceremonial CD from the national website. And you can learn all the music. And since I'm also the music chairperson, we will be having a rehearsal for the music. I'd like to ask Soror Dolores Johnson, who is going to share some additional thoughts about the function of the the Rituals Committee, and answer any questions that you may have.
Hello, I'm Dolores Johnson, your Rituals Committee Chairperson. I'm responsible for the implementation of all chapter rituals such as MIP, rededication, Ivy on the Wall, the gavel ceremony at the local level, and officer installations. There are some ceremonies that are at the regional or national levels. They are the honeydew ceremony, the legacy ceremony, the pinning ceremony, and the gavel presentation for the regional director and the supreme basilisk. Now there's also a silver star, golden, pearl, and diamond induction at the national and regional levels. And also at the national level, there is an honorary member induction. These are all ceremonies that are performed regionally or at the international level. The committee works with the basilisks to ensure effective implementation of rituals based on the revised International Regionals Manual. The committee assists the basilisks with ensuring the proper supplies and storing supplies that we're able to reuse. The committee is responsible for setting up the ritual materials before the ceremony and removing them. We assist with the implementation of the actual rituals during the ceremony. We monitor the participation of the sorors to make sure they are dressed appropriately and doing the right thing at the right time. We attend ritual workshops during conferences in order to stay up to date. In conjunction with the protocol committee, the rituals committee assists with review of the entire ceremony immediately prior to implementation. We are responsible for monitoring sorors during all the rituals. Sorors should always be dressed appropriately. During MIP and Ivy on the Wall ceremonies, they should wear conservative, uninterrupted white suits or dresses, always with sleeves, the dress shoes, and the proper hosiery. Remembering all ceremonies never to wear hats or pants. Always dress conservatively. Nothing should be too provocative, too short, or too tight. Nothing to take away from the seriousness and uniformity of the rituals. We are open for questions. You may go to the question and answer portion of the application, and we will answer your questions in real time. Thank you very much, Soros.